With spring football right around the corner, and I mean right around the corner, it's time to chat with Mizzou's head football coach, Barry Odom, as we get ready for your first spring camp as head coach. And let's start big picture there. You got the full staff in here. They've been in for about a month. You guys have been working hard and working towards your first spring camp. Big picture, what are you looking for, especially the first week or so as you get it going?
Well, as we start with the practice of 1 of 15, it's our job to make sure we try to improve day to day. We've worked with our staff on getting on the same page, terminology, how we're going to practice, how we line up, schematics, both sides of the ball, and then the kicking game. I'm anxious to see our improvement from day 1 to day 2, and then as you build it, continue to get better each day.
As you've gone through off-season work here, there's been a lot of conditioning, and you see your players every single day. What stood out to you? What have you seen that you liked? What improvement have you seen in your team every single day?
Well, it doesn't surprise me, but their willingness to work, they're anxious to get better on what they have done as an individual, and then on both sides of the ball, the willingness to learn. Been excited about their anxiousness to get as good as they can get.
Toughness is so important to you and this staff. How has your team gotten tougher in the offseason?
Well, I think mentally and physically, you look at making strides in the right direction in the game of football. On any level, there's a toughness component to it. That has got to be one of our trademarks. That that we mentally and physically that we need to be a tough football team.
I think it's easy for casual fans to conjure up images of toughness on the defensive side of the ball, but on the offensive side of the ball, what's a hallmark of a tough team offensively, and what can the offensive side of the ball do to achieve that?
If you look on all great offensive teams, they've got the ability to run the football and control the line of scrimmage, and if you can do those, then you've got a chance to open up the passing game. I look at every time that I'm starting to looking at an opponent, I look at how their receivers block, how they run routes when they're not maybe getting the ball, they're not the primary target, and those are all signs of being a great player and having toughness about yourself.
When you talk to players about spring football, how do you go about coaching up a player on goal setting for spring football and what they should set out to achieve during this 5-6 week period? We'll
set goals for ourselves individually, for each side of the ball by position groups, and I think that it's important for us to look at a segmented day, not look big picture, which we will, but then get that down to one practice at a time. Defensively and offensively, we'll set goals and objectives on what we want to get done through the first 3 practices, and then build from there.
Let's go through some position groups and talk about what you hope to see throughout spring football. Quarterback is a position that a lot of people think about. You've got an experienced returner with a lot of talent in Drew Lock. What do you look at offensive side of the ball, especially in those skill positions, quarterback, running backs, and receivers?
Well, I think it's important that everybody that played last year, they've got to have improvement in their game, both fundamentally and then picking up the offense with the new offense that we're putting in. They've got to have a great feel for that and be great students. We've got to be great teachers. But if you're a receiver, number one, with the ability to get open, the ability to conceptually run the routes that the defense has given you, and then have the ability, obviously, to catch the football, and then the run game, be great blockers.
Tight end. You got a new tight ends coach, just started about a month ago, Joe John Finley, a name familiar to Tiger fans from his playing days at Oklahoma. What do you see as the role of the tight end in this offense that you're putting in this spring?
They're going to be called upon a lot and play a multiple number of positions. We've got the ability with the 3 guys at that spot to utilize them on the line of scrimmage and in the backfield and lined up in a number of different roles that I think really can give us an advantage. They've all done a great job over the last month on really working in the weight room and becoming students of what we're trying to get done on offense.
With the loss of Evan Boehm and Connor McGovern, there's surely going to be some competition on the offensive line. What's the key for that group as they continue to grow?
Well, I think if you look across the board for us, competition is maybe the most important word because there's going to be competition at every spot. And the offensive line is, there's 10 or 12 guys that are fighting for 5 spots, and we've got to find the best 2 that can play tackle, and then we've got to do a great job on interior 3 positions of center and the 2 guards on finding the rest of the group on who's the top 5.
Defensive side, defensive line might be the deepest position on the field. There's a lot of talent coming back there. It's got to really excite you.
Anytime that you want for me to build a program and build a specific side of the ball, I'm going to start on the line of scrimmage. And defensively, if you're good up front, that allows you to do a number of things on the second level, and the third level being in the secondary. So those guys, there's a number of guys with experience coming back. I expect them to play at a higher level than they did last year, continue to develop their skill set, and lead that side of the football for us.
Tremendously experienced and high football IQ players coming back in the linebacker core, a specialty of yours. When you look at Michael Shear and Donovan Newsome, et cetera, coming back, that's got to be a position that you can lean on defensively.
No question, they've played a lot of snaps, and I've said a number of times I wouldn't trade experience for anything. And those guys they bring value in their knowledge of the game. There's not much that gets them rattled, throughout the course of a game or a practice. They've been around the block, and we're going to lean on those guys, putting us in position to lead defensively.
And you've got some tremendous experience coming back in the defensive backfield as well. When we talk about players like Arion Penton and Anthony Sherrills, et cetera, what excites you about that experience group coming back?
Well, with Coach Brown and Coach Walters coaching both spots, corners and safeties, those guys working together, the continuity of some of the guys returning, the language has changed a little bit, but how they play off of each other, some of our man techniques, and then our zone concepts. They've been through the system a year, and so there should be some carryover. And those guys, starting day one, I expect them to play at a pretty high level.
There are going to be a lot of changes. There have been. That's the nature of the business when a new staff comes in. But do you see an excitement in your group to get to work here in spring? And even though there are going to be hills to climb and lessons to learn, are they energized to get to work?
No question. It's obviously exciting for me coming in every day, and the urgency that the staff is attacking every day with. And our goal, as I've said, is to make Mizzou football better today than it was yesterday. And then if we can take care of our business and do that, academically, socially, and then on the football field, then we're going to have a chance to achieve every goal that we want to achieve.
Barry, it's exciting. Spring is here. Thanks for taking some time before you get going on the field.
Thank you.
That's Barry Odom, Mizzou's football coach, his first spring camp. And we'll have continuous reports on MUTigers.com and on the Mizzou Network throughout Spring Camp 2016.